is up, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back to One on One, a KC Sports Network podcast. I am your co-host, Mike DeVito, here as always with my brother, 9-year NFL veteran and Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl champion, Jeff Allen. And we are here to bring you all things Chiefs football from a player's perspective. Before we get into it today, and I know you can already see it, we got a special guest for this one. Big Jeff, tell us what's going on at Cookie Society, our sponsor. We're so grateful they ship nationwide.
Yeah.
Out there. What do you got, brother? What's going on over there?
It's a new month. It's the first of the month, so that means there's a new menu. We have apple pie this month.
Oh,
apple pie. This is not training. This is the real deal. We have frosted oatmeal and we have Dunkaroo. One of my favorite things as a child was a Dunkaroo, and I ate way too many of them, so we had to throw that thing on the menu. Make sure you check it out.
Jeff, we're going to have to get into your fasting, how you fast and diet with living with all those cookies in that house, man, because I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
Man, to be honest with you, man, once you're around them so much, you don't crave them as much, but I definitely have to make sure I'm working out every day.
Oh, man. Well, that's great. Check them out. Cookiesociety.com. We love them. Got to check them out. You can trust us. We're linemen, okay? And getting into today's guest, my brother, 14-year NFL veteran, Kansas City Chiefs greats, all pros, Pro Bowlers. I mean, we could do a whole episode just on his resume. DJ Derrick Johnson, 5'6". Brother, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me, Mike. Thanks for the introduction, too. Making me look good, baby. I like that.
Definitely, man. You didn't make you look good. You made yourself look good. You're a legend, man. I just want to know, man, what are you up to now?
Nothing much, man. 6 kiddos, I tell you that. Me and wifey are very busy. We range from a 6-month-old girl to 5 boys, and my oldest is 13. So I got a couple middle school kiddos. So I got every spectrum in the house right now throughout the day, but it's going good. I'm enjoying it. Kiddos, keep me on my toes. I have to work out every day just to make sure they can't take me, one day. So, but I'm doing good.
Good, man. So you're with your kids. I see you on Instagram all the time, social media, working them out, coaching them. And I don't want to pull you away from your family, but we all want to see you back in coaching. You're one of the smartest guys I've ever been around, one of the smartest football minds. I feel like you need to be coaching the linebackers in Kansas City right now.
You know what? That's a good question, Jeff. I would love to. I would really love to, but right now, kiddos are take most of my time up, and I couldn't just commit to the sacrifice that you have to be a coach. Of course, I'll step in training camp and do some things or some guest coaching here and there, just to get my knowledge out there. But I tell you what, I'm a football head, so whenever the Chiefs are playing, I am right there. It drives my wife crazy because I stop it every time. Like, hey, I'm coaching with her, and just she doesn't know everything, but she's learning. But I'm like coaching her up. She's like, yeah. And she's just going with it, just so I don't make it as long as possible. But I love the game, and just the Chiefs are. It's fun to be a Chief right now, especially as a fan right now watching them.
Definitely.
DJ, I'm surprised your wife even entertains it. My wife, man, I try to talk football with her, man. She already know I'm out. She's out. The room. I don't even want to hear it. She doesn't even try to be polite about it,
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard sometimes.
Yeah, no doubt. Hall of Fame. This is now. So you just get introduced inducted into the Texas Hall of Fame. Is this the first Hall of Fame induction? And I know if it is, there's many more to come. But talk about that and talk about sort of what that meant to you.
You know what, Mike? I don't like talking about myself, but I do have a couple Hall of Fames. I got a Missouri, State of Missouri Hall of Fame, State of Texas now Hall of Fame, Sports Hall of Fame. Then I got Texas High School Hall of Fame, and the University of Texas. They have their own little Hall of Fame. So I got that. So things are going good for me. I've been very blessed over the years to accumulate some accolades, and I don't take it for granted because I know the game I play, the football, is the ultimate team sport. So guys like yourself, Mike, guys that are in front of me doing most of the work, and I have my ability to shoot through gaps or shoot through some open things. Not that it's easy, but it's the ultimate team game, and you don't get anything tagged Hall of Fame doing it by yourself. So appreciate everybody that played a part in that.
Jeez, and in Texas too, DJ. What? I'm just curious because I guess I've never asked anybody this, but I've never talked to you about it. But I played high school football in Massachusetts. You know, it's not exactly the most popular sport out there. So what is Texas high school football like? I mean, it's just incredible. I know you said you got inducted to the Texas High School Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
What's high school football like there?
It's a big deal. It's really a big deal. Now that Jeff lives here in Texas, he knows on Friday nights, it's a big deal. Like the community always shows up and supports their local schools, and I tell you what, it's some big time schools here in Texas, and usually the states are California, Texas, and Florida. They have probably the most when it comes to football, high school football, but Texas is big time. And I mean, we was just looking. My wife she's from Kansas City, and she was just looking the other day, like, did you know that, you know, it's Lake Travis School around here and Westlake School. They're already sold out, you know, for the year for tickets and season tickets. She's like, man, this is crazy, but it's pretty cool.
That's amazing. I can't imagine.
Texas is a different beast. I was at my nephew's game yesterday. He's here in Texas with me. He's a 7th grader, and there was more people at his game than were at my high school games growing up. Honestly, man. So it's crazy to see how competitive it is. And anytime I run across someone, this is about you, DJ, and I mentioned that I play for the Chiefs. They don't even know when I play for the Chiefs. They said, do you know Derrick Johnson? So, man, that's credit to you and what you've done in your legacy. Just the imprint you left on Texas football and in the NFL. You're an inspiration still.
That's awesome, man. I appreciate that. I never take that for granted, man. That's one thing later on in life I'll be even more appreciative when people you can leave a legacy and people can remember your name. But I appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, definitely.
And DJ, all the way up here in northern Maine, they asked me the same thing.
That's awesome, man. I tell you what, Jeff, you didn't act like I was a big time player when I was playing against you with the Chiefs in practice. Trying to check my head off. You was mean, man. You was mean. I like that though. I needed you on Sundays, but not during the week. I didn't need you at all. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. I apologize, man.
We talked about Jeff's mentality on here. That is so true, man. I'm glad you confirmed what I brought.
I'm thankful for it, but man, that's just from my upbringing, growing up on the South Side of Chicago, man. Mm-hmm. And you know, it's just in me. So
the Wild Hunters, huh?
Yeah.
That's another thing growing up in Cape Cod, Massachusetts. I don't get any of that. I was on the beach. Family made a ton of money. You know? Oh, man. So I was pretty soft.
I wouldn't say you were soft, man. I didn't. I
may
not have acted like it, but I did enjoy practice against either one of you guys, man. It definitely was not fun, but it made me better.
It was easy with 5'6" behind me, man.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times, Derrick and Jeff, I think I told you this. Man, and this was when I first got out to Kansas City, right? So I'm coming from New York. I'm used to all these big run stoppers across the board. Man, I get out to Kansas City, and the first couple of games there, I knew my stats were not going to be very good because there were times I was just getting off the football. I swear I wasn't even engaged with the guy in front of me. And I look, and DJ's making a tackle in the backfield. I'm like, oh, man, I could be in a sprinter stance with nobody in front of me, and I wouldn't have got there that fast. It's like, I am not making plays with this man behind me.
Oh, when we played guys like Derrick Johnson, we would tell, the tackle, adios. That means we're not giving him any presents. I'm not helping you with that down lineman. I got to get going so I can get to Derrick Johnson, because if I don't, it's going to be a TFL.
That's the times where I have talks with Mike DeVito and Don Cherry Poe and these guys. Hey guys, these guys are not doubling up. They're coming right up to me. So hey, let's get going now.
Oh man, DJ. Well, so we're talking Chiefs. There's a ton of stories we can talk about with our time there, but I'm curious right now, sort of what your thoughts are with the Chiefs team. Obviously, they're very good, but specifically your position, the linebackers, Bolton, Gay, those guys. What are your thoughts on that position, and just your overall thoughts of the team this year?
Well, Bowden, the young guy looks good. I mean, I watched some preseason games this year. They showed a few down here. I watch every game throughout the season, but preseason is kind of spotty at times. But I tell you what, athletic. That's the first word that comes to mind. They're athletic and tough guys. I tell you what, Gay, he's a guy that's. I think he's coming into his own. You can tell he's getting smarter. He's not. His plays are calculated. He's not much movement right before the play, meaning he's not guessing a lot, meaning ball's over here and he runs over here first and run. It's so many little things you can tell about linebackers and how smart they are and how young they are. I tell you what, Gay is a guy that I'm looking at like, wow, with his speed and how tough he is, with his size, I think he's going to really help out that linebacking core and that defense this year, which, defense is already stacked and pretty good.
Now, did you get a year with Spags?
I did not. Heck of a coach, though. Wow. Love his defense.
Yeah. Talk to me about that, because I look at his defense and think I would have gotten cut before, as soon as they signed him, they would have cut me. Because
you say that because it's a 4-3. So that's, and usually 4-3 defenses, especially the 3 technique in the nose or whoever's in the middle, those guys are gap responsive, so they're not head up. So they're shooting the gaps, trying to get in the backfield, trying to be disruptive, and that's what they have across the whole defensive line. Yourself was a little different. You might want to get more on the 4-eye or head up on the guy, and honestly, that's harder. That's physically harder to do that. I love that, but at the same time, Spags does a great job with just exotic schemes when it comes to cover 2. I mean, the way he makes Honey Badger. Honey Badger is the rover guy. I mean, he can be anywhere on the outside of the line, playing defensive end or outside backer. He can be in the middle, playing the dime linebacker. He can be back at safety. But I tell you what he can do with Honey Badger. I mean, they play cover 2. I mean, he's way back in the deep half safety, but he's playing the middle Reid guy in a Tampa type of 2, which I think I love, by the way. And he makes so many plays back there. I just think that the defense, as far as getting after the quarterback, Chris Jones and those guys, Frank Clark. I mean, I love it. I really look forward to watching the Chiefs defense out there, especially having Mahomes. When you score, when you're on a team with a really good quarterback, and really good quarterback is an understatement, but you have opportunities for sacks. You have opportunities for big plays, and they're always going to be on the go. They're always going to be throwing the ball. So now you can dial up your blitzes. You can, there's opportunities for more opportunities for interceptions and sacks. That stuff comes to play just because you have a really good quarterback, and I think that's awesome.
DJ, what did you like personally? Because you are sort of the best of both worlds, right? You're a bigger linebacker. You can play the run. You like to hit guys. You like to get physical. At the same time, you're very athletic, like talking about, very explosive. I know you played in a number of different defenses. For your position when you were playing, what would you have preferred? What did you like better? Sort of the hybrid that we did, where you had everybody sort of trying to hold guys up front, or a defensive line that's flying 100 miles off the ball?
You know what? It's a good question. In college, I was a 4-3 guy. My first 4 years at the Chiefs, I was a 4-3 guy. And I tell you what, 3-4 took my game to the next level. Yeah. And what it is about 3-4, when you're head up, you get to fall back with the running back or any kind of cutback. You get to fall back, so you can 2-gap. Meaning if the running back's over here, I can go here. I can go here, which actually keeps you alive and keep as an inside backer. If you can stay square, you can make a lot of plays. But when you play 4-3, not that it's bad, it's more gap conscious, meaning, hey, shoot your gap. I mean, if that back's if it cuts back, don't get out of your gap, because that's your gap. So it's a little more building a wall type of defense, which all works, by the way. But I tell you what, being an athletic linebacker I pride myself off of that because I was able to play all 3 downs, which gives you some clarity and some stationary, like some meaning you can always play if you can play on 3rd down. And you see a lot of linebackers. There's no more big fun, Kirkland type of linebackers back in the day, like the guy from
Dave Harris.
Yeah, all those big guys. Yeah. I'll tell you what, now you have to be able to be aggressive enough to hit, obviously, on any kind of ISOs or any kind of run plays, but at the same time, be smart enough with the RPOs, all that stuff, because offenses are really smart. They'll get you matched up, and it could be a nightmare for you. But if you can cover tight ends, cover running backs, play on 3rd down, you can play in this league for a long, long time.
So, man, I got to play with Mahomes. Man, this kid is special, poised. He's played in the championship game every year as a starter, whether it be the AFC Championship or the Super Bowl, which is crazy. What do you see in this kid, and what's your favorite thing about
him? You know what? Mahomes is he's just if you talk to him, you'll say, man, he's just a humble kid. He's just, down to earth, Texas kind of guy. But I tell you what, he gets on the field. He's a wildfire. He can throw the ball everywhere. He can make every throw from every position, every angle, which is kind of scary. You playing defense, you're like, how are we going to ever stop him? But I tell you what, when he got drafted there, that was my last year in 2017 with the Chiefs. Yeah. And you get this kid, I'm up on him because he's a Texas guy. He's from East Texas. So he's our scout team quarterback. So I'm like, cool. And we know the plays that the team is running that day. So usually there's a lot of interceptions. It's just what it is. Or a lot of balls knocked down and nobody's open. I'll tell you what, I've never got fussed at so many times as a defense with Pat Mahomes being the scout team quarterback. He's a nightmare. He literally would look this way and throw this way, and I'm thinking, I've never seen it before, not in live action, and I kind of got upset with him before. I'm kind of like, hey man, stop playing around. It's just, we trying to work here. Yeah. But I look in the next year, he's like doing it in the game, so I'm like, oh, okay, my bad. That's what he does. Okay, cool.
So I wasn't there his first year, but one of the things that surprised me the most, he's this really humble kid. He has this fire behind him. He got this baby face, but he talks some crap out there on the field now, and he backs it up. Yeah. Was he doing that in practice this rookie year?
You know what? He wasn't talking as much. He at that time, he was just getting there, but physically he was talking. Like he was just, you kind of know, like, okay, you're the guy. Like you're this guy. And whenever he played in a preseason game or whenever he played like the last couple games, my last year with the Chiefs, because we were going to the playoffs, and he played in the Denver game. All the players, we're up there watching. Alex Smith, everybody. We're trying to see what this kid has, and he does. He never lets you down. Really, he doesn't.
Well, that's great. That's going to transition great into the next question, man. Or favorite story about a person. Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, they seem like the perfect pair. But what's a favorite story or one thing you remember about being with Andy Reid?
You know what? First of all, Andy Reid is a blessing to be with Pat Mahomes. That's just a match made in heaven. Just because Andy is so smart. You're talking about a guru offensive guy, and when you have this wild hand, this fire guy that can throw it all kind of ways, and at times, if he does get in trouble, he's doing too much. Andy is the guy to say, hey, this is how we're going to do it, and just to settle him down a little bit. Andy has some schemes, so he has some funkiness to him too. But at the same time, he's so smart, and Pat Mahomes is in great hands with Andy. But I'll tell you what, Andy Reid, I think my best story about Andy Reid is probably I won every year while I was with Andy for 5 years. I tell you what, I think it was 2015. I may be correct, but we were 0-4 1-5 or something like that.
I remember that.
And I tell you what, man, I'm used to. I've been there, been 1-5 a couple times before. Too many times, I'll tell you that. But I tell you what, it's so different going into the going into the meeting room, team meeting room the next day after we lost our game. And we wasn't losing by much, obviously, but we were 1-5, and I'm thinking, okay, they're about to pull up the film. It's going to be, just pulling everybody out, just calling people out. And Andy Reid walked in there and said, "Hey guys, we're not far off. We're not far off. We got to do a couple things. Just keep believing. Break up." And I'm looking around, and everybody's walking out. I'm like, okay, I'm like confused because I've never had that kind of confidence that a coach has, especially at 1-5. I mean, long story short, we went 10 straight games after that. That's just being around a coach that knows the game, knows his teammates, treat us like men. He always harps on the little things, and he's always big on the little things because you can't do the little things right. It's kind of hard for you to do the big things, but he's a blessing, man. I love Andy. Andy's the man.
Man, that's a great story. I was right there with you. I was a rookie the season prior to that, or before he got there, and I remember what it was like. We won 2 games that year, and he came right in and turned the thing around. But I think what makes him so great is he treats everyone like men. He gives everyone opportunity to show their character, let their personalities shine. And he started from the get-go, with the leadership council, letting our voices be heard, whether it be, choices in uniform, what we eat in the cafeteria, just little things like that. It makes the team, makes everyone feel important. It makes everyone feel comfortable in their roles, and it makes you a better football team.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. That let your personality show. He always says that. I tell you what, I look for him to say that. I look for him to say that just because that allows me, give me the license to just go out and be yourself, have fun, but go do you, and which works always better.
Definitely.
That 2015 season is a case study just waiting to happen. I mean, that is unbelievable, and I've learned so many lessons from that. And I think the one thing that I always come back to is how normally in those situations you have sort of 2 reactions to a 1-5 season, because the chances of you doing anything special that year are basically none.
Oh man, way low.
You have guys that are going to say, "Okay, I'm going to just play out. I'm going to go rogue, go outlaw, play outside the scheme because I got to make plays, have the stats to get ready for the next year's contract."
I'm laughing because I've been on a couple of teams like that. Yeah, it's true.
You see it, and then you have the other side where the guys are like, "Listen, I'm packing it in. I don't want to get hurt. I'm just going to do whatever it takes to stay healthy for the next year." And yet there was none of that. Like you said, I still remember that team meeting, and it was like we went right back to work like it was day one. Yeah. And wow, just one game after another game after another. All of a sudden, 11 in a row, man. We gotta do a special episode just on that. But Derrick, we're taking up a lot of your time. But just this one, I'm sure we already know what it is, but I'm just curious, your expectations on the Chiefs this year. What do you think? What are we looking for with this team?
Well, you know what? It's not. I don't know if it's fair or not fair, but we're looking to go to the AFC Championship, and I'm always saying that just because when you have a guy like Pat Mahomes and Tyreek Hill and all these weapons around him, and on defense the way it's set up, it's going to take us to the playoffs. Obviously, we're going to win a lot of games in the regular season, but getting to the AFC Championship game, I'm kind of skipping some steps here, but I'm just looking forward to them seeing who they play and how well they play and how healthy we are during the AFC Championship game, and that'll tell you everything, honestly.
Yeah,
I think we're all in agreement there, DJ. Brother, it has been an honor. Thank you for stopping by. We hope to have you on again a bunch this season. It's really been a blessing. DJ, thank you so much for coming on the show, man.
All right, man. Thank y'all.
Thank you, man. Have a good one.
Yes, sir.